Now our closer look, a shocking lawsuit against the NFL. Former players alleging a stunning deception by the league, team doctors prescribing powerful painkillers without disclosing the consequences, all to keep injured players out on the field. Our experts here to weigh in, USA Today columnist Kristine Brennan and former NFL player ESPN's Mark Schlereth. Mark, I want to start with you. You played 12 seasons in the NFL, 29 surgeries. What was your experience with how the team handled painkillers?
Well, first and foremost, I take personal responsibility for everything that I put into my body. And the teams that I played for, both in Washington and Denver, I had a great relationship with my athletic trainers and also with my doctors. And I knew the consequences of what I was putting into my body. They made those things aware to me. And there was also restrictions. Could you get pain pills? Could you get, if you were injured? Certainly. Could you have a Toradol shot? Certainly. But the consequences of those drugs were made very apparent to me. And there was a gatekeeper aspect to those doctors that say you could only have this if you're injured, and you can only have this for a certain amount of time. And so we're going to limit your access to those things. So I will tell you this. From a player's standpoint, I've never been around a player that didn't put more pressure on himself to play injured than the team did. And certainly there's a ton of pressure because...
Mark, that's certainly the culture of the team, and players do know the risk. But you yourself have seen examples. You talk about the vicious hit that Matt Schaub of the Houston Texans took. The doctor says he did a concussion test, and he's back in the next series. You've seen this again and again, this kind of thing.
Certainly, and there is a conflict of interest, and I don't think it's a mandate from the NFL for doctors, team doctors and teams to deceive their players, but I certainly think that that's a team-by-team basis, and in that particular hit, from the doctors that I have spoken to, it is absolutely impossible to conduct a thorough investigation or a thorough concussion test while guys face down on a football field.
Kristine?
So those things are league issues, and they need to be addressed. So there is a certain conflict of interest that goes on to, are you protecting players, or are you protecting the team's best interest?
Which is exactly what I wanted to ask Kristine. What do you think there? What do you make of these allegations?
Martha, these allegations ring true. I think what we're hearing from Mark is an exemplary story. Mark had a great experience in the NFL. Obviously, what we're hearing from the plaintiffs is that they did not. And as I said, it rings true. I've covered the NFL since the 80s. I don't know anything per se. I don't know for sure. But I do know this, that the team would keep, in Washington especially, would keep injury information from the reporters. I would have to call a player in a hospital room in one case to find out what was wrong with him. Is that wrong? We don't know. But Mark is telling us a good story of his personal experience, and that's wonderful. But I think we have to listen to this. And with the concussion story and the concussion lawsuit, Martha, and now this is bad news for the National Football League.
I want to switch gears just quickly, if I could, and move to the Redskins. 50 senators signed onto a letter calling on the Washington Redskins to change the name of the team. Let me get a quick reaction from both of you. Kristine, I think I know what you're going to say. Does this make a difference?
This is big news. It sure does. It's big news. The news is continuing. There is kind of a cumulative effect here, and I think this is a name that will change in the next few years. It's going to have to, because public opinion is continuing to grow against the Washington NFL team nickname.
And Mark, quickly from you, is it time to change the name?
Yeah. It is time to change the name. There's no question. If you research the history of that name, it's a pejorative term, and it needs to change. I mean, you would never go into a conference of Native American people and walk up in front of them and refer to them as Redskins. It is a derogatory term. That's its origins, and it is time to be a leader from the standpoint of the NFL. High schools across America have changed their names. The NCAA has implemented policy to change those names. Why has the NFL shuffled its feet on this? I don't know, but it's time to change.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all your insight on all of this.